When the oceans rise and thunders roll, I will soar with you above the storms. Father, you are king over the floods. I will be still, know you are God. I want to encourage someone who is passing through a storm, and I want to talk about peace in the midst of the storm. There is a story that is written in the book of Luke, chapter 8, verses 22 to 25. Luke gives a story with a message of hope, peace, and faith, just like many of us face storms in our families, storms in our country, storms in our jobs, storms with our children, storms in our future. The same happened to the disciples, Storms come even when Jesus is in the boat. That is in verse 22 and 23. Jesus invited the disciples to the other side of the lake. They agreed and they obeyed to join Jesus. And how many times does Jesus invite us to join him in the boat, even when we are passing through the storms and we refuse? Jesus is calling us to obey and join his boat today. Even though they were with Jesus, a storm still came. It doesn't mean that because you are with Jesus in the boat, storms will not come. But Jesus made sure that he controlled the storm. When Jesus entered in the boat, he felt asleep. What do I want to tell you today? That the sleeping of Jesus doesn't mean that he is absent. So asleep, but pleasant. Jesus was asleep, but he was still present. In verses 23, Jesus sleeping does not mean his presence is absent. It doesn't mean that he doesn't care. So are you in the boat with Jesus? Do you feel that you can't feel his presence? I want to encourage you that he is still there, but sleeping. He's silent in your storm does not mean absent. What do you need to do? Call upon Jesus. He will answer. The disciples in verse 24 called, Master, Master, we are perishing. We are dying. We are about to die. The disciples cried out and Jesus responded. He woke up and commanded the wind. Your voice is very important in the storms that you are going through. Jesus is just right there with you, but he is waiting for you to call upon him to calm the storm. One word from Jesus brought peace. One word from Jesus made everything stop. So Jesus challenges our faith today as he challenged the disciples' faith those days. He asked them, where is your faith? This is what I'm asking you today. In your storms that you are going through, where is your faith? Storms reveals that our faith increases. Storms reveals that our faith is stronger and stronger every day. So Jesus is inviting us today not to trust our roads, not to trust the government, not to trust our families and our friends, but to trust him even in the midst of the storms that we are going through. Friends, storms are part of our lives, but Jesus is greater than the storms that you are going through. Friends, Jesus is in our storms of life, waiting for you to call on him. So don't fear, but increase your faith. Trust the one who is able to control your storms.